Welcome back to another episode of Jenny Real Estate Explained, brought to you by the investment team. Today we have another new launch review to be bringing to you guys. This is Grace.
This is Caleb.
And today we'll be touching on an upcoming CCR project that a lot of our clients have been asking.
Yeah, definitely. You also sound sick, a little bit sick, Grace.
Yes.
I think she's been working a little bit too hard recently.
Need to sleep more.
So, yeah.
So forgive my musky voice.
No worries. Yeah. So there's actually quite a very interesting development that is upcoming that I think not a lot of people know about. Yeah, it's a TMW Maxwell, formerly Maxwell House.
So what does TMW stands for?
No idea.
The
Maxwell.
Probably.
Okay. So Grace, why don't you share a little bit about the project information?
Okay, so let's take a look at the project information itself. This is a joint venture between SingHaiYi Group as well as Eng Seng. So SingHaiYi is a very well-known developer that we've been seeing, for example, like Grand Dunman. What we noticed also, plot ratio is 5.6. And initially, this plot is actually a commercial plot of land, but developers have actually done the necessary changes to make it into a mixed development. So for the tenure-wise, it's 99 years, and number of units we're looking at is 324, so a very healthy mix of units. The expected TOP date will be in 2028, and then this will just be a development of one block with 20 stacks and 20 floors.
I think we can see kind of a pattern with developments in the CBD area, particularly Tanjong Pagar and Chinatown. A lot have only one or two blocks with high floor stacks because most of them individuals or maybe a couples staying in the area, and their focus is on the view, city view. So the focus is actually on building taller buildings with lesser blocks.
Yep. So this also means that developers have to be a little bit more creative in the way they actually fit in all like the facilities and stuff.
That's right. Okay. So you can see a bit of the developer background for both Eng Seng and SingHaiYi. It's quite interesting because you can see quite a mix of development sizes. We have Park Colonial, which is around 1,400 units, a huge development in Clementi area. And we also have the Gazania in the OCR, which is a smaller development, less than 100 units. And we also have Kopar at Newton,
in
CCR.
the CCR region. Yeah.
So it's quite a vast mix of different areas and different types of development.
I think SingHaiYi is known for like the bigger developments, but they have also seen them doing like mid-sized developments also. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so Grace can share a bit about the location of TMW Maxwell.
Yep. So I think in terms of location, something that's very convenient. So perfect for someone who, either you want to buy it for investment, even as for own stay for young couples that want to live in the city area. You're right next to Maxwell MRT, which is like a 2 minutes walk. And then you're also not too far from Tanjong Pagar MRT, which maybe it's about a 4 minutes walk. So in terms of amenities wise, you're very close to Chinatown area where you have all your good Chinese food. You also have Tanjong Pagar area with your Walker Tower if you want to head down for some restaurants. Sometimes location-wise, it's something that's very convenient.
That's right. Have you been to Maxwell Food Centre?
Yes, they have like the chicken rice that people all queue for.
The Tian chicken rice. And they also have the oyster jian ping.
But the last time I tried Tian chicken rice,
you tried it?
I tried it, but it wasn't like the best. But I don't know.
I quite liked it.
I didn't understand the queue.
I quite liked it. Yeah, the queue it depends. I think. But really enjoyed the food there. One of my favorite places, especially in my childhood. And thankfully now there's also a Maxwell MRT that's right there. Okay, so let's take a look at the connectivity. Yep.
So like what we mentioned, pretty walkable to all the MRTs, Maxwell as well as Tanjong Pagar. And then your couple stops will be from City Hall, Raffles Place, which is where most people actually work also.
Yes, it's amazing connectivity. There's two actually TE and East-West line. And so it's very convenient to go on either lines. And the main line of East-West is very, very close to the center area.
Yeah.
It is the center area actually. So in terms of connectivity to the rest of Singapore, it's there. It's way better than the other developments that we're looking at in these few months. That are in the OCR or even RCR areas.
After all, you're in like the center. So connectivity wise, definitely is a plus point for this project. Yeah. Okay, so we move on to schools. So in terms of primary schools, we have 3 of them within 1 and 2 kilometers. We have Cantonment Primary School. We have CHIJ Kellogg. We also have River Valley Primary School. And then for other secondary schools as well as international schools, we have your Outram Secondary School. You have Chatsworth International School at Orchard area, as well as SMU, which is a
school that I was from. Yeah.
I was going to say that.
It's actually one stop away from Tanjong Pagar MRT.
Which is where Jarvis is from also.
Yes. So if I was staying there, wow, I would save a lot of time in the morning traveling. Yeah.
Okay, So next one, if we look at in terms of primary schools, you can see for 1 km, we have one school, which is Cantonment. And then for the 2 km one, we have CHIJ as well as River Valley Primary School.
Yes. But what is interesting about this development is actually the target audience is not really families.
Yes.
So from the few that we can see in the past few months, like the reserve residences, even Lentor Hill residences most recently, and also the D15 area, most of them are targeted at families who either want to stay slightly away from the CBD area or stay in some of these developments that are near to good schools.
Yeah.
Pine Tree is actually quite near to Henry Park and Pei Tong as well.
Yes.
But this TMW Maxwell is actually targeted at professional working adults.
Yeah, and we'll see this later on when we look into the unit, the floor plan signs, and then you understand why we say that this whole development is actually focused towards
that's right.
Not towards the family side.
That's right. So there are a lot of shopping areas here.
Yeah.
And wow, your spot for choice. You have Tanjong Pagar Plaza, Far East Square, Coco Tower. Yes, very interesting. New Bridge Centre, 100 AM, and also Tanjong Pagar Exchange. Yeah, and many more. International Plaza is there as well.
So I guess you get a good mix of your very local hawker centres as well as your a little bit more atas coffee shops, cafes as well as restaurants.
Shopping. Yeah, so you can either choose to save on your food and your purchases, or you can choose to go to the more premium places.
You can cook yourself
for networking, with your colleagues.
Yeah.
Or business partners.
Okay, so for next up, we have the other amenities. I think living in the city, people say lack of greenery, but you get your Trustling Park, you also have your Eng Seng Hill Park. So for your weekend activities, I guess there's a place that you can head down to. You're also very close to Chinatown, so I love walking through Chinatown. You get a lot of good Chinese food, as well as you're near to Goko Tower. That's where you'll find your little farms for all your groceries. Okay, next up, you also have your Telok Ayer Park. So actually, you have quite a lot of parks around you, despite being in like the CBD area.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, next up, you have Chinatown Street Market. If you do walk across, you see a lot of small little stores. As well as your Chinatown Food Complex, a huge place for a lot of hawker food. And then Maxwell Food Centre, which was what Caleb just mentioned.
Yes. Okay, and we can see from surrounding land plot, there is actually 4 developments, 3 that are upcoming and 1 that is more recently launched a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, over here we have 1 Burnham that has already been launched a couple years ago. We have Newport Residences and AXA Tower that is going to be launched this year, most likely in the 3rd or 4th quarter.
Yep, so I think for Newport Residences, it was initially planned to be launched I think a couple months back, but because of the cooling measures that the government came up with for the 60% ABSD, that's why it's being held back.
That's right. So now they are kind of holding back to see what's the situation, and they may have to change their launch indicative prices.
Yes.
Yeah, and in the future, there's also going to be a realty center. So this one is most likely going to be in 2 years' time, in 2025.
This is an en bloc.
Yeah, there's also an en bloc with 5.6 plot ratio.
Yeah.
But you can see over here, TMW Maxwell is at 4.3 plot ratio, and it's been redeveloped to 5.6 plot ratio minimum. And you can see that it's quite far away from the other developments. But what's interesting is that in the immediate vicinity of TMW Maxwell, there are actually not many new developments in the area. I guess the one that's closest is actually Emerald Garden, but that one is
a little bit older.
Yeah, it was launched in about 1997. Yeah, so very old developments here. So in terms of supply in the immediate Maxwell area, there's not many new launch supplies. Yeah, which makes this quite attractive for people who want to stay there.
Okay, then we will look at the asking price for them. So what was the asking price, or did they get it at a good price, I would say?
I think it's pretty good because initially it was going at 295, but eventually they started to lower their asking price. But subsequently, the sale was actually successful and gone above the asking price of 268 million. It was actually snagged at 276.8 million. Yeah, above their asking price. So that's quite a good news for them. But compared to their initial 295, it's actually
at a discount.
Quite a steal.
Yeah.
Yes. But of course, there's a lot of costs that will be added to the en bloc price. Yeah. So we'll have to take a look at that too.
Especially with the rising interest rates and you have your rising cost of constructions.
Yeah.
It will all add up to, the developer's break-even point eventually.
Yes. So there's a lot of different calculations. We can only give a rough estimate based on the information that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here are some of the photos that you can see. TMW Maxwell is over here, and it's actually facing Ministry of Law. Yeah, and I used to intern at Ministry of Law actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting
experience. If you guys
experience.
don't know, Caleb was meant to be a lawyer.
No, I was never meant to be. No. Yeah.
And he decided to give it all up.
Yeah,
to be
change gear. Okay, and we can see the aerial view of TMW Maxwell. It's quite interesting because if you take a look, apart from being slightly blocked by the Ministry of Law building in front, you can see that surroundings are all low-rise buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you take a look at a wider aerial view, you can see that you can see over here, they're all low-rise. So in terms of view, it's going to be an amazing view.
Yeah.
And there's most likely going to be a price premium per floor for higher floors. And depending on the premium of each floor.
Yeah.
But most likely, there is some value, additional value for staying in a higher floor in this area, especially for floors that are being blocked by the building that is in front.
I think this is an important point when it comes to which floor should we purchase into. And if let's say we are looking at investment, and that comes down to our unit selection, which we also do with our clients, because we will have to decide whether the premium it's worth it for the increase in floor level, and does it warrant this same premium when we want to exit in the resale market in the future.
That's right. I would say for OCR, most of the time, the view is not that important. Especially if it's not, let's say, a big difference, for example, a sea view or city view as compared to something that's blocked. Because most of them are families, they just want to stay there. Yeah, but there is something special about CBD buildings, CBD developments, in that there is some prestige and branding that comes together with the development. So if you actually stay in a higher floor, people can have a different view of you as compared to staying in a low floor. And that gives you additional value and ability to sell at a higher price upon TOP. So this is something you can consider. Yeah. And if you take a look here, also we have CBD future transformation. So actually it's quite clear from Singapore government what they're trying to do. They actually introduced the CBDI, the CBD incentive program. CBD incentive scheme, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to transform the CBD area into a purely workplace to a combination of work and lifestyle. Yeah. Because most of the buildings there are all commercial, but they actually can be used partially for residential as well. They're trying to change it up. They're trying to redevelop it in the near future. And they are starting it by introducing the CBDI, which was introduced in 2019. Yeah, so you can see over here, there's going to be streetscape improvements. There's going to be more greeneries, more parks around the area to make it more livable.
Yeah, so I think in the past, if you went to visit like CBD during the weekends, people always say it's like a ghost town because there is nobody around, and like I guess Singaporeans would prefer not to live in a CBD because if you're off work and you're still in the same location, it feels like you haven't gone off work. That's why I think the government is trying to change that up by adding a little bit more parks in the area, a little bit more greenery. And I think like at this moment you kind of see CBD changing, and as well, especially when Guaco Land came in with like Wallet residences, increasing the number of residentials in the area also. That's right.
But will it be effective? That's another question because there are clients who just want to stay as far away as from CBD as possible. You make it more livable and you make it more interesting to stay. Is that going to incentivize them to stay there? I'm not too sure about that. Yeah. Okay. Next, so to share a little bit more about the CBD incentive scheme, we've talked about this a little bit in our Newport Residences video. But just as a refresher, essentially, the Singapore government has allowed certain places in this specific area, Tanjong Pagar, Chinatown, Maxwell, Robinson Road, you can see Shenton Way, Tanjong Pagar area, to actually increase their allowable intensification. So increase their maximum GFA, increase their plot ratio. Yeah, of course, you still have to pay development charges for it, but there may be development charge rebates as well.
I see.
So you can see that over here, what they're trying to do from a largely commercial area, they are trying to change it into a mixed-use area with both commercial and residential. Yeah, and specifically for these locations, the one that is applicable for TMW Maxwell is actually over here. The maximum allowable intensification is about 25% for commercial, with 40% commercial use, commercial and residential and hotel. But what's interesting is that it kind of varies based on case by case basis. They do have a demarcation, as you can see here, of the area that is that actually falls within the purview of the CBD incentive scheme. But you can always apply, because you can see over here, TMW Maxwell has a successful application, and actually is outside of this demarcation.
Okay.
Yeah. So it really depends on case by case basis. Yeah, and how much they can actually change the intensity of use also depends on the application.
So, for example, what's the plot ratio that they can increase by? It's all based on a case by case when they actually apply into the government.
That's right. So it also depends on how it is being used. So they will actually take a look at all of these factors to determine whether they should allow for or they should approve of the proposed changes to the use of the development. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one we'll be looking at is the unit mix. And this is something interesting because you don't see your regular 3, 4, 5 beta. What we can see is, most of them they only range from studio to a 2-bed dual key. So you can clearly see where the developers are trying to go with this development. I mean, in a sense that they're not trying to target like families or schools, more for small young couples who want to be living in CBD area, or even for investors. So you can see for studio, your total unit will be 201, which is the bulk of the entire development. And then for 1 betas and 1 plus study, you have 68 of them. 1 bedroom loft, we have 5. 2 bedroom premium, with the 2 bedroom dual key, it's then 50 units. So total then you have 324 units. So for unit mix wise, is something that we've noticed that's interesting in the CBD area.
That's right. And it's quite interesting because SingHaiYi just launched Grand Diamond. Oh, sorry, it's about to launch Grand Diamond. And we do have buyers who are hoping for a good ballot number soon. Yes. But what's interesting is you can see Grand Diamond by SingHaiYi has actually bedrooms from 1 beta to all the way to 5 beta, even though it's in an RCR place, and PSF is around 2.3 to 2.4, most likely. But you can see it's a totally different approach in this area. Yeah.
So I guess from the developer's floor plan as well as your indicative pricings, you can already know, what are the kind of demographic that they are trying to attract. For example, Pine Tree, where the bigger units actually asking for even higher PSF than the smaller units. From that, you can kind of see which target groups they're trying to target.
That's right. And if you take a look at the most recent developments in this area, like One Burnham, the 3 betas, 4 betas are very, very low in demand. Yeah, because families typically won't want to stay in the CBD area. So they are actually quite smart in that not only are they targeting these types of buyers through the unit mix, but also the entire packaging of the development is all targeted towards professional adults, working adults in the area. Yes, you can take a look in the next few slides. Okay, first of all, can take a look at the current residents in the area. Although this includes both HDB and condominiums, but still most of them staying there are looking at 1 to 2 betas. Yeah, you can see over here. So you can take a look here. It's actually a site plan, which is just 1 block with 20 stacks. And it goes all the way up to the 20th floor, as you can see over here. Okay, and if you take a look at this diagrammatic chart, you can see it's very interesting how they actually designed it, right? They have the pool and gym on the 20th floor.
Yep.
So it's a rooftop pool.
So you get a very nice pool view, I guess.
Yeah, you can bring people that you want to mix with.
Yeah.
Your friends or
You can have a chill night at the
Chill
pool.
night at the pool, exactly.
Yeah, that's why we always say, for CBD areas where there's only one block, usually the developers are a little bit more creative in the way they actually fit the facilities inside the development itself.
That's right. And quite interestingly, there's a two-bedder dual key. And that is actually targeted most likely at buyers who are looking to gain rental income over a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Yes, you can take a look at it later. All right, so you can see some of the facilities. Grace, why don't you run us through
very beautiful. And I think you can see that they actually incorporated a lot of greenery. I think they're following the government in trying to make this entire place more livable and try to, make the residents feel like they're out of the CBD area. Basically, what we have here, it's one entire block, and the facilities wise, like what Caleb mentioned, you then have them on your 20th floor, which is your top floor, where you have your pavilion as well as your pool and your gym, both all on the top floor.
That's right. And some interesting things you can see here, we have a breakout pod. I think there's a gaming over there. You have a reading alcove, you have a library, you have a bar, and you have the sky pool on the rooftop, and you have a gym there as well. And they actually have suggestions for how it's actually how owners there can actually live out their whole day. Especially right now, a lot of people are not only working after COVID. A lot of them have returned to office, but very often they are also working from home.
Yes.
So this kind of is the best of both worlds for those who sometimes work in the CBD area. They have to go there, but sometimes they are able to work at home and they prefer to have a nice environment to work in. So first of all, you can take a look. Greenery is something that's very important, but actually one of the reasons why is because in order to qualify for the incentive scheme, they have this green mark certificate that they have to obtain, and so they have to integrate greenery kind of nature kind of things into the development. So they actually have plans for different kind of floras based on the floors that they are at. Upper Sky Terrace, Lower Sky Terrace, that's more durable. Upper Sky Terrace, more wind resistant there, because they're very concerned that the wind is going to be stronger at the higher floors, so they need something that is stronger and more durable over there. And so you can take a look here. This is what it's going to be, what's going to look like at the top. They actually have planned it in such a way that there is different social groupings even on the top floor. So there can be separate meetings in a different setting. Some that is more casual. You have the gaming beanbags. You have
and I see you have I can see that exercise at the corner. You have your gaming, and like the other side, you have your reading, your dining, even a breakfast bar.
Yeah, exactly. It's so interesting. There's also a meeting swing. I don't really know what's a meeting swing, but I guess you can meet there at a swing. Yep. Right? And you can see here also, very interesting. They actually have like a time schedule for, not exactly fixed, but it's kind of like a suggestion based on what a flow of the day of owner staying there, a working professional in the area will be like. You can have reading in the mornings, you have Zoom meetings, then you can exercise, you can lounge all in the same area.
So you can really see the developers trying to promote healthy life balance throughout the entire development.
Balance.
Yeah,
exactly. And they are very particular and concerned with how good the place will look for people who want to network, who want to invite their colleagues or their business partners over to their homes for discussions, for meetings, etc. So it's pretty much designed, targeted at the working professional. You don't see many children facilities, play facilities over here. Yeah. Okay, and next we have the unit provision. So they actually provide tiles, timber, flooring. And you can see for each of the unit types, there's some slight differences. So all of them have ceramic hobs, integrated fridge, washer, dryer, and all of that. So actually, it's quite common in the CBD developments that they have already inbuilt. They have inbuilt hobs, integrated fridge, and washer, dryer kind of thing. There's all of high quality. What is different from these unit mixes there's a flip down table at the balcony for studio, for studio unit, and the rest doesn't have that. There's a queen size bed with integrated sofa for the studio as well, and the rest also don't have that. Yeah, and also a movable walk-in wardrobe.
A movable walk-in wardrobe.
Yeah. Actually, a studio and a one-bedder over there is not too different in size. As you can see in a while. Yeah. Over here, you can see the studio is 473 square feet. Yeah. So this is for stacks 15 and 16. Over here, all quite efficient layout.
Yeah. Actually, almost to a one-bedder size.
Yeah, exactly. 473 square feet is quite close to a one-bedder size. So the studio is usually around 300 plus square feet. Yeah. And we have a one-bedder as well, 517 square feet. Yep, they all have a balcony and all efficient layout. There is no wasted space. There is no odd shape. Yeah. There is also ironing boards. You can see over here. Inbuilt ironing boards for you to iron your clothes, I guess, before you go for your meetings.
Yeah, I guess when you're looking at a smaller unit size, then that's when you have to be a little bit more creative in how you actually position your stuff, because you have to be a little bit more space efficient and creative.
Correct, definitely. Okay, we also have a one bed plus study, which is also quite similar. I think that even though this is a plus study, for one bed and one bed plus study in this area, I don't think that there will be a big difference in demand. I think that one bed plus study is still demanded because, first of all, your quantum increase is not that much from a one bedder. And next, a study place is also quite convenient for a working professional who needs a place to do their work and separate from the master bedroom. So in fact, maybe a one plus study may be more popular than just a one bedder. Okay, moving on to two bedders. You can see two bedders is quite interesting. What do you think of this two bedder?
I think this two-bedder is slightly bigger than what we normally see in the new launches today. So usually we see like 667 square feet, even up to maybe 700 square feet. But this is 785 square feet. So you would expect it to be a little bit more spacious. But of course, that comes with a higher price point. Yeah, that's right. But in terms,
I think that one consideration for why they decided to have a larger two-bedder is because there's a lot of smaller one-bedders and one bed plus study options.
Yeah.
So those that actually require more space, then they would actually go for a two-bedder with 785 square feet. They would prefer that over, let's say, a one plus study that is not too much different from, for example, a 677 square feet two-bedder.
Yeah, but ultimately we can see that a very nice layout, not much wasted space. And you can see that, interestingly, bedroom 2 actually doesn't have a wardrobe. Yeah, so you'll probably have to install one yourself. If not, then you have to get those like IKEA movable kinds.
I think there is, it's optional. You can opt in for the wardrobe or you can choose not to have it as well. Yeah. But I think the default is without wardrobe.
Okay.
Yeah. And we also have a 2-bed dual key. Okay. There's only 50 units for a 2-bed dual key. But I don't think that there'll be many people who are looking to buy this for their own stay. Yeah, because there are a lot of 1-bed and 2-bed options. And dual key, the problem is there's always 2 doors, and there's 2 kitchens. So it's kind of wasted if you are trying to stay in a place where there's 2 kitchens.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so most likely, people who buy here are looking to for rental because CBD rental is really high. Yeah, for 1-bedder and 2-bedders, the rental yield is around 4.5% to 5% or even higher. And if you are doing a dual key rental, each room can go about 3.5 even, 3.5 to even 4K. So you can even fetch about 7K for a 2-bed dual key. Yeah,
and I think for dual key layouts, something that we do notice is, yes, it does bring up a higher rental yield, but sometimes we also need to consider the fact that, it may be a little bit harder to exit in the future because you're only able to sell it to a specific group of people, which are like investors, and it's not as ideal for own stay families.
That's right, that's right. But it is still a viable investment option if you are looking for cash flow in a longer term. So your choice of units can be affected by what is your investment horizon, your time horizon. Okay. And now we have the upcoming developments by the developers SingHaiYi and Eng Seng. So we have Diamond Grand that's coming out on Saturday. Hopefully, our buyers can get the unit that they want and the ballot number they want. We also have Sky Waters, AXA Tower, that is going to be one of the tallest buildings in the area in the future. And also we have Parkview Mansions, which is right next to Lake Garden Residences. That's also coming up in the next few weeks. This is a Jurong Lake area, Jurong Lakeside area.
Yep.
Now let's take a look at how the developers have priced their developments in the past, both SingHaiYi and Chip Eng Seng.
Yep. And
let's take a look at what are some of the developments, that's noteworthy.
Yep. And I think it's important to look at how developers and their history in pricing their developments, because we want to find out also, and we want to buy into a development with good history developers where they help the price stage properly, and that's why we're actually looking deeper into the pricings also.
That's right. So first of all, we have Park Clementi's in Clementi, 1,450 units. It is yet uncompleted, but will be completed soon. Right, you can see here the break even was actually 1,374.
Yeah.
And you can see there's quite a lot of transactions over from 2019 all the way to 2021, 2022. So it's quite evened out. The launch price is actually 1,612, which is 17% above break even. So I think we can see from some of these past developments that they actually have quite a fixed launch price above break even.
Yeah.
It is roughly around 15% to
under
20%. Correct.
Yeah.
And you can see people who actually have sold their Park Clementi sub-sale have all made a few 100K.
Yes.
Yeah, over here. And there's only one unprofitable transaction, which was zero profit. So, yeah. So, Park Clementi was a success. We also have Kopar and Newton from Chip Eng Seng. Yeah, also uncompleted. The break-even is actually 1,884.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the launch price was 2,254.
So 20% above the break-even.
That's right, 20% above break-even. So there's only been two profitable transactions, but both have profited a few 100K, and there's no unprofitable transactions. So one thing to note is that, especially because Park Clementi is a lot larger, so there's more likely going to be sub-sale in those developments. For middle-sized development like Kopar and Newton, there is less likely to be sub-sale transactions. So most likely, there will be a lot more transactions that will happen once Kopar and Newton actually TOP. Yeah. But you can see from both of these, prices have increased from their launch price at 225 to currently now it's about 2526 for Kopar and Newton. And for Park Clementi, it's gone up to about 2,000 PSF already. Yep. So for both of these developments, they've actually made a profit.
Yep.
What's interesting that I can add also is that for the smaller developments from SingHaiYi, they actually had to have a fire sale discount. Yeah. So those are the Lilium and the Gazania.
Yes.
They actually started at quite a low price. They price staged over the next few months and few years. But eventually the price became too high and they weren't able to, or rather they want to clear it.
Before the QC timeline.
That's right. So they actually had to give a discount of around 10% a few months before the deadline.
Okay.
Yeah. So for people who are looking, you can also look at some opportunities like these in the market where the developers actually will drop prices in order to make it for the QC timeline. Okay. Next, we have High Park Residences. So this is something that is older, Chip Eng Seng. Yep. For High Park Residences in Sengkang area, 1,376 units, another huge development.
Yes.
But the thing is that their break-even was actually 881, whereas their launch price is actually 992.
And that's why following the launch, you could see that a lot of owners that actually bought into High Park Residence actually made quite a healthy profit because of the entry price that they entered in. That's
right. If you take a look here, from 900 plus, now it's going at about 1,500. Yeah, one of the reasons is because of the nearby new launch at that time.
Park Botania.
Exactly. And it's quite interesting because this is one of the few examples where their launch price was only 12.6% above break even, not the 15 to 20% range.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see profitable transactions 406, unprofitable 0. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
But we have now a situation where it's CBD. These are all those that actually profited. Apart from Kopar, you have Park Clementi and you have High Park Residences.
In the OCR
OCR area and more larger developments. So what about Maxwell? which is a small development with mostly, okay, not small, mid-sized development.
Yeah.
Mostly with 1-bedders and 2-bedders. How would that fare? I think that Maxwell is kind of in between. For example, Kopar and Newton, and also the large developments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we see that those who bought the Gazania and the Lilium, which are less than 100 unit developments, in the CCR area, they would have made a loss if they had bought in the middle. So, and if they had bought at the start, they wouldn't have made that much, especially after the discount was given.
Yeah.
So I think that this Maxwell, it really depends. Because it is not a large development, neither is it in OCR, and the estimated launch price is also actually not very low. Yeah.
And I think looking at break-even pricing and launch pricing is just one of the factors that we consider when we actually enter into the new launch. And there's a lot of other factors that, we have to consider, such as your comparison to your resale properties, what is the price gap that we're looking at, which is something that we'll cover a little bit more in depth in the second part.
That's right. Okay, and we are coming close to the end. Let's take a look at some of the surrounding land bit. All right, so we have Sky Waters, Newport, and Realty Centre, as we mentioned. Right, and in the future, for Marina area, there's going to be 2 developments, and there's one that's open for tender, Marina Gardens Crescent, and also Shenton House. So the one that's closest, Shenton House, is currently open for tender.
Yep.
So these are, one is a en bloc, one is a GLS. The GLS will most likely go through. En bloc, it will depend, but most likely it will also go through because specifically due to the CBDI scheme. Right, so we're taking a look at the nearby break-even and launch. We have one Burnham that had a break-even of 2001, and that was launched about 19% above, so about 2,500 PSF. And we have Shenton Way that had a break-even of 1,100.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the launch price for the break-even price. Yeah,
it's quite drastic, 80%.
Yeah. I think one thing that we can also note that is because it's also a mixed development, so there could be other costs involved also when building the commercial parts.
That's right. So when we are calculating a break-even price, it is not easy to get an estimate of the break-even price, especially for mixed developments. Yeah, because there's a lot of hidden costs, and there could be rebates as well, and commercial. The commercial portion of the development will also cost more. So developers may actually choose to price their residential portion a bit cheaper, closer to break even, or as per normal. So it's a bit hard to gauge what is the estimated price for a mixed development. But based on what we do know of a few things, one, we have the leasehold values, because Maxwell House is actually a 99-year leasehold. It's built in 1971. So the remaining term is actually 52 years.
Yes, and they had to top up back to the 99 years.
Exactly. At 75.7%. So the calculations for that would be based on the valuation by a valuer. So this one may not be easy to get. Okay, so what we can actually calculate is the differential premium, which is the additional GFA given the increase in plot ratio. So we have two use groups. We have Group A and Group B. Group A is commercial and Group B is residential. So the residential portion that takes up 80%, and the 20% commercial portion, altogether with the 75.7% percentage of freehold value, the differential premium will be about 84 million. So added to the land cost, the en bloc cost, which is 276, you get about 361 mil, and that brings us to 1,543 PSF per plot ratio. So this one excludes your lease top up. So that one will depend. It could be up to 100 mil as well. So, and then after that, you have miscellaneous expenses, 50 to 60%. So altogether, your estimated break even will be 2,003 to 2,005. And your estimated launch price based on
15 to 20%.
Yes, based on developers' past pricing patterns, it will be about 2,600 to 3,000 PSF. So
maybe based on this pricing or estimated launch price that we're looking at, what do you think of the pricing in this sense?
I think that the pricing most likely will be about 2.8 to 2.9.
Okay.
Yes, but if it's about 2.6 to 7, because there's a possibility that the developers may price it a bit lower because of the commercial portion. So in the end, that's one thing. And also the rejuvenation of the area could also give a TMW Maxwell appreciation potential.
Yeah.
Because if you compare with what is available now, One Burnham, there's also 99-year lease, but it's not a mixed development, and it's in an area where there's going to be future supply as well.
Yes.
Newport and Skywaters as a competition, which are all mixed developments. Then TMW Maxwell actually can look like quite an attractive option as compared to the others.
Yeah. But I think at this point, because we're still lacking indicative pricings from the developers, and all this estimate break-even cost is something that we've just done on our site. So once we actually have more in-depth information, that's when we actually have a second part. So do stay tuned for that.
That's right. So there comes the last portion of our new launch analysis, which is buy, wait, or avoid. Okay. Do you already have a idea of what you would prefer?
Yep.
Okay. Let's say our preferred choice. In 3, 2, 1, wait. Okay. Why do you say wait?
I think at this point, a lot of things are pretty uncertain in terms of the pricing wise. And like we always mention, entry price is key when actually entering the development, especially if you're buying in for investment. So I think we have to wait till, what's the indicative pricings that developers are actually launching at. And we can then do a little bit deeper analysis on a comparison with the surrounding new launch as well as upcoming land bids, because all this would then be the new benchmark in the area. So
that's right. Completely agree with you.
Yep.
So the prices for Newport and Skywaters are also not very certain.
Yeah.
Although initially we were estimating Newport to be around 3,004, but assuming that is the case, then TMW Maxwell as a comparative will be a lot more attractive than Newport as a form of investment.
Yes.
Yeah. And also with the two-bed dual key, for people who want to invest, not focusing on capital appreciation, but focusing on long-term rental income, then that can also be a viable option. Yeah. So, and altogether, I think SingHaiYi and Eng Seng are very, very reputed developers.
Yes.
They are going to give very quality layouts. As you can see, Grand Diamond's layouts were done very, very well.
Yeah.
There is actually alternatives in the future, like Newport and Skywaters, that will most likely go at about 3,002 to even 3,005, which, based on this calculation, will make TMW Maxwell very attractive. Yeah. And the whole concept design targeted at one-bedder, two-bedder working individuals and professionals, a lot of them will be very attracted to the development most likely. So they're actually very smart in terms of their marketing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I won't be surprised to see that there's going to be a lot of demand for TMW Maxwell. Yeah. I think we've come to the end of our analysis for TMW Maxwell.
So do stay tuned to the second part. And this is Grace.
This is Caleb.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.